Hey guys, it's Thea. Welcome back to my channel, and for today, we're in my room. Today I wanted to start or I guess this is the second part to a little series I like to call Sit Down, Shut Up. What it is we're gonna be chilling with some friends, maybe by ourselves. We're gonna be talking about some movies whilst putting our makeup on. So yeah, that's what the whole series is about. So, the first movie we're going to talk about the hit movie, The Maze Runner. Now, there's 3 movies in The Maze Runner. There's The Maze Runner, then there's The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trials, then there is The Maze Runner, The Death Cure. Now, I'm just going to talk about the first one, but if y'all want to see me do the other ones, feel free to comment. Oh, by the way, I got this idea from a awesome YouTuber. Probably doesn't know who I am, but her name is KENNIEJD. She does a series on her channel called Bad Movies and a Beat. She talks about bad movies while puts on her makeup, while I talk about movies or TV shows in general. Let's put my makeup on. So yeah. So basically it starts out with a guy who we don't know the name of, but we later find out his name is Thomas. And he is in this box surrounded by a whole bunch of weird things, I think there's a pig in there, but other than that, it's just dark. And really, at first, he can only hear things, so he's really creeped out, as you should be, if you're just chilling, all of a sudden you hear a pig. And all of a sudden, the box stopped. What the heck? Don't blame him. I'd be very confused. All of a sudden, the doors to the top of the box open, where we meet all of the other, they're called gladers. Really, they're just other boys, where we meet the other boys. Right off the bat in the movie, we find out what a jerk Gally is. Gally is played by Will Poulter. I don't know, kind of controlling he can be, even though he's not a leader, like he's not the second hand, we just kind of find out what of a jerk he is. No one really knows their names when they come up into the box, which would be terrifying. So I feel you. We figure out that Newt is second in command to Albie, who is the first person to ever come up into the glade. And then Newt came along, and so yeah, we figure out the rules. So the rules are: carry yourself, like make sure you do your part, stick together, and never go into the maze. So that kind of gets discovered pretty quickly. Oh, I forgot a part. Before they never go in to the maze, like past the walls, we figure out that Thomas, or Dylan O'Brien's character, quite intrigued. He's very curious. So of course, kind of the first second he gets left alone, where does he go? The maze. And then what happens? He gets into a fight with Gally because he wasn't supposed to go into the maze. Gets Albie to say, oh wait, we never told him the rules. We should probably do that. So yeah, those are the 3 rules. Now, we also know that there's no girls in this maze whatsoever. So that's fun. So we're about halfway through the movie now, and Thomas, we figure out his name is Thomas. He hit his head on a rock. So Thomas is now looking for a job because everyone has to carry their weight. Everyone has to have a job. So Thomas is kind of going around with everyone, chilling with everyone. He is with Newt at the moment, and so Newt sends him to go get some fertilizer. Pretty easy. When all of a sudden he encounters a crazy guy named Ben. Ben is a runner in the maze, or in the glade. He goes out and runs the maze with Mino, who is also a pretty important character in this equation. So he finds Ben, and he's obviously crazy. So Ben comes and starts to attack him. And poor Thomas is he's like, what did I do? Ben blames like them being trapped in the maze on Thomas. And of course, because, he didn't even remember his own name, Thomas is confused on why. Eventually, they stop Ben from beating Thomas up. Newt whacks him in the head with a shovel, which was very, very funny. I laughed very hard during that scene. But it leaves this big hanging question on why is this Thomas' fault? So we quickly find out that Ben has been stung by a griever. Now, grievers are these like things that are, you don't quite know what a griever is at this point in the movie. You don't really see one. You just know that they're bad. And we know that Ben has been stung by one. So that ultimately means he's gonna die. So the next scene, kind of you see him being pushed out into the maze because they can't save him, which is too bad because I liked Ben's character. So yeah, so that means that they have to find another runner to go out with Mino because he can't go off by himself. It's dangerous. So Albie, the leader, decides to go off with him, like a good little leader he is. They end up being out there way longer than they're supposed to. Turns out Albie got stung. So we see Mino with Albie at the very entrance of the maze, but unfortunately the doors are closing, which means they're probably not going to make it. Now, of course, Thomas, being the little idiot he is, decides to have to help. So he runs out into the maze, almost gets squished, but doesn't, and decides to help save Albie. Now, normally, if you're like a newbie here, I wouldn't trust you with like my life, but somehow Mino trusts Thomas. He hasn't showed any signs of survival or fitness or anything, but whatever. So they discover Albie got stung, and they're like trying to figure out what they want to do. They can't just leave him. Like, man, you just banish that other guy, but yet you're gonna do great lengths to save Albie. Whatever. But like, yeah, they can't just leave him. So they're pulling him along with them. My question is, why didn't you just stay by the doors, tie Albie up, and then leave? Like, that would have been a way better idea. But yet, no, because it's an action, they have to take Albie with them. So here they are, dragging Albie everywhere. And all of a sudden, it starts to get dark, which means the grievers are going to come out and attack. So Thomas quickly thinks of a way to help Albie by wrapping him up in a wall of vines. But they're about halfway pulling Albie up when all of a sudden you hear a griever, which means, so of course Mino, being, he's been here the longest, longer than Thomas for sure, knows what to do and leaves. Leaves Thomas, leaves Albie behind, everything. I felt I laughed. Poor Thomas has to hide in a wall of vines just to nearly avoid getting caught by Griever, only to make a whole bunch of noise and get caught again. Like, why don't you just stay in that wall of vines, my guy? Like, it was kind of frustrating to me. Whatever. Yeah. They go on this big griever chase. Thomas survives because he's the main character of the movie and he can't die. And ends up killing a griever, which has never been done before. So everyone's so when they get back, Gally's there, and of course he is angry. So he wants Thomas to get cast out of the maze. They want to throw him out, which is stupid because he just saved Albie. But of course, the rules, no exceptions. So he holds a little court case of the crap this is. They're just standing around talking. But in the middle of that meeting, all of a sudden, they hear the box, which means another member is coming up. They all quickly run out there, only to see a girl who is basically dead laying there. A little note, which says she's the last one ever. Not, super helpful there. All of a sudden, she wakes up and breathily, awkwardly chants Thomas's name. And literally, I almost like cracked up in the middle of that. It was so bad. So they're all like, what? She's passed out again. They take her into the med hut to keep her under surveillance. Whilst in the med hut, they also are keeping an eye on Albie to make sure that he isn't, you know, crazy. All of a sudden, Teresa gets up and runs away up into this little tree house. This part was probably one of the funniest parts I've seen in a while. She starts throwing rocks at the other guys, and I start laughing. I'm like, I want to do that so often. I commend you. Commend you, Teresa, for doing that. So yeah, she starts throwing rocks at these boys. But of course, because she said Thomas's name, he's like, it's Thomas. And she immediately stops. So they go up there, they have a chat. And during that chat, she tells Thomas that she has these little vials of serum basically in her pocket. And they're like, oh, I wonder if it'd save Albie. No duh. Of course it's gonna save Albie. So they give the serum to Albie. Right before they give the serum to Albie, Albie freaks out and basically says, again to Thomas, it's your fault we're here. And Thomas is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean? Tell me. But again, no one will tell him. So he can't explain himself in any way. Or even so, he can't maybe try and piece the frickin' puzzles back together. So they give this guy the serum. Everything's on the horizon. And all of a sudden, they hear these mechanical whizzing. Turns out the maze walls never shut. It's becoming night, which means all the grievers are gonna come in and kill them, which sucks. So, so they're all panicking. They have to try to get Albie away. Long story short, Albie dies. He gets taken by one of the grievers. Gally has gone insane and thinks that Thomas is the reason for this. And so they kind of capture Thomas. Oh, in the process of that, Thomas realizes that the only way to get these memories back is if he stabs himself with the griever juice or whatever. So he stabs himself with the griever juice and passes out. Gets all his memory, or all the important memories back. And he now knows why it's his fault. So when he wakes up, he is in the pit in the jailhouse with Teresa because Gally has overthrown everything and Newt has been cast aside, has been overthrown. So Gally is in charge. So Thomas, Newt, Mino, Fry, and Teresa, which is the girl, don't know if I said that, all form a plan to try and overthrow Gally. Is successful. Basically whack him with a stick. But they also offer out to anyone else who wants to join, you know? So a couple of them join, the medic, a couple of slicers, which are killers of animals, basically. They join, and they all go into the maze. So whilst they're in the maze, they come across the end, which has a whole bunch of passcode numbers. But they can't put in the passcodes because a whole bunch of grievers freaking come and attack them. So they're a bit, you know, preoccupied with that. We end up losing a couple people. No one, like, main casted, so it's okay. Mino knows the numbers because it's the order that the maze opens. So different sections open on different days, and that's the order. And then they all kill the grievers, and there ends up being a little door that opens up into the maze, inside the maze wall. They open it up and see a whole bunch of dead bodies. I don't know about you, but I would run if I saw dead bodies. So they're like, what's going on here? I don't know what's happening. They find this video, of course, because videos explain everything. It's basically telling them that they were chosen to try and save humanity because there's this virus going around that's basically making people zombies and killing them. Which sucks. But by the end of the video, the woman's lab is getting attacked. She ends up shooting herself. Yeah, they don't shoot her. And so Thomas is all distraught because, you just almost died. And they're on their way out of the maze. And all of a sudden they see Gally. He has been stung. He is clearly not in his right mind. And he is holding up a gun to Thomas. Basically saying, we can never leave. They have us under lock and key. But you're the reason that they have us under lock and key. So if you die, we can skirt out of here. Which wasn't the case. So, of course, they go in this long rant, I guess, on why it's Thomas and all this stuff. And you can tell Gally is going to pull the trigger. But you also see Mino holding a stick whilst this is happening. So you know that he's going to die. Gally's going to die. At the end of Gally's speech, Gally shoots Thomas. Mino throws the stick and kills Gally. But Gally did not kill Thomas. Gally killed the kid that has been with Thomas this whole movie. The kid, like the 10, 12-year-old named Chuck. Now, Chuck was kind of like Thomas's first friend in the maze. So it was really hard for Thomas. He was crying over him. That was a sad scene. Right after that, we see a whole bunch of helicopters coming in and pulling them off. Had to pull Thomas off of Chuck's body. And that is where the movie basically ends. So a lot happened. The next movie is way better in terms of kind of sci-fi action. This was my favorite one, definitely. But yeah, I think that's everything. If I didn't cover everything, you could always look up the summary because it's not that hard. I just know it by heart because I've watched it with Janie and Bailey like maybe 10 times. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below any other movies or TV shows that you want me to watch that are, age 18 and below, that are, I'm only 17, so that are appropriate.